two, three, four, five, six figures online. Yes, we're talking about having an online business that is really doing a lot of cash, got to six figures. This is Now Tell Us, and I'm your host, Anthony Moirore. Now Tell Us, we get to have guests come and tell us stories. They come and inspire us. They come and give us education on a subject that is important and they are passionate about. And today we have a great guest with us who is known as Crystal O'Connor. She's going to tell us about 5 steps to six figures online. I remind you to please share this video, this audio, whatever it is that you're listening or watching, share it with all your friends and let's have some fun and let's get to learn. And if you're ready and if you're interested to know about these 5 steps, why not join me as we go together to meet Crystal? Here we go. Hi, Crystal.
Hello, Anthony. How are
Yes,
you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Good.
Yes, welcome to Now Tell Us.
Thank you. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me. I feel honored.
it's an honor to have you here, and I'm excited to learn about the 5 steps to six figures online. And you know why? Is because the world is changing towards this direction of everything online and having an income online. But then not everybody has this information, not everybody has this experience. So we are really honored and blessed to have you here with us. And I'm excited. But before we go into that, we would like to know who is Crystal?
Who am I? Okay, so I came from a background of education. So I was a teacher. So I think that it helps me when I used to teach kids. Then I started in TV advertising, and so I helped small business owners. Then I sold commercial real estate, and each of those industries has helped me build a business online because as a school teacher, we take complicated to simple, right? We take the complicated thing or the confusing thing and we try to share it and teach it in a simplified way. And they say that that is what genius is. Have you ever heard that before?
Mhm. Yeah,
We think
exactly.
anyone can sound complicated and smart, but really the intelligence and the genius is taking complicated to simple. So that is why, or I shouldn't say it's why, it's part of how I was able to communicate with marketing. But being in TV advertising really helped me understand what the small business owner struggled with the most. And then I learned all kinds of things about marketing. But I decided to go online and start online when I was in commercial real estate in '08, the worst year to be in real estate because of the real estate debacle in the United States.
Mhm.
And I was selling buildings and everything was happening, but it just seemed, as I was working with investors, I was invited to a bloggers group and I went not knowing what a blog was at all. And they're all talking about blogs. And I'm just standing there thinking, I feel so stupid. I have no idea what they're talking about. So finally, I whispered to someone, "What is a blog?" And he started laughing. And I ended up being in the newspaper because they were going around taking pictures. Blogging was a new thing. There was this explosion of online everything, right? In about that year, so 6, 7, 8, and I got this big picture of me taken for the local paper, and it said that I was a blogger, but yet I didn't know what one was. So I thought, well, I better be a blogger if they're going to
Mhm.
call me that. So I put up a blog, and when I saw what was happening, I thought, okay, I'm going online full time. Here's another reason I did because I saw, being in TV advertising, I would be selling 30-second TV ads for thousands of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went online and saw this is all free. I can make a video and no one's going to charge me thousands of dollars and eyeballs will see it for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought this is the wave of the future. Like I need to stop what I'm doing and really consider starting my own business online. Then it became about what would I talk about? What would I teach? So I just started doing once I got my blog up, I think I spent like $900 putting up a WordPress blog. I gave money to this guy. He didn't get back to me. I went and found him on Twitter and he was tweeting and I tweeted back. I said, where's my blog? I said it right there for everybody to see. And I think I embarrassed him. But he quickly messaged me and said, I'm working on it. And I thought, well, it looks like you're just tweeting all day, but
Uh-huh.
where's my blog? So anyway, that was like me being, going from commercial real estate to online and my first introduction to what's happening online. And then I started thinking, okay, so everyone seems to be spending time online with the blogs and that, but is anyone making money? I come
Mm-hmm.
from the world, I got to make money. So I thought, okay, so I got to learn some more about this. And I don't want to put websites up for people. That wasn't what I wanted to do. And so then I started searching out people to teach me things. And there was a gal, can't quite remember her name, but it doesn't necessarily, Maria was her first name, but I bought a little program from her and I just kept learning and implementing, learning and implementing. And you know that I wasn't making any money until I did these 5 things that I'm going to tell you about, the 5 things.
Wow. And we are eager to listen to those 5 things. Now,
And once I started
yeah,
doing these things,
yes.
I hit 6 figures in 9 months with my
Wow.
coaching business. So what I started doing, first of all, you got to build a list of people. And this has become more important than ever simply because it's so crowded, right?
Yeah.
It used to be when I went online in the olden days in 08, 09, I was able to put a little opt-in page on my Facebook profile.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard that? Isn't that crazy? And I started collecting emails.
Okay.
And then but you can't do that anymore. Now you need an opt-in page, but which is really easy to do. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I started doing what I called an anchor event. So write that down. You have to have an anchor event. And some of this is like foundational stuff. And I could talk about AI and I can talk about Chat GPT. But if you don't have the foundations, these 5 things I'm going to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
then the other things are just going to confuse you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to have a foundation, just like you've got to have shelter, you've got to have food and water,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Or going to, skipping those steps are not going to help you. So we're going to get the foundation going, because if you put a lot of effort into something and you don't have your foundational, you're going to make a fool out of yourself, or you're going to just exhaust yourself without any real, uh, without being productive.
Yeah.
And
And talking of foundation, I'm imagining of someone who is building a structure and it's a high one, but if it doesn't have the foundation, then that thing is gonna crumble down sooner than later. So
yeah,
I
and
understand
it's
you.
and yeah,
And
and it's sad because I think a lot of dreams are squashed because people need the funding.
mm-hmm.
So that when I say the foundation, I mean you start capturing leads, start capturing people's contact information and getting to know them, getting to know what they want. So I built a list, and I did that using other people. I didn't just put up a page and people sign up. I did an anchor event where I invited people. So I did some YouTube videos and I did some things like that to invite people to sign up to
Mm-hmm.
learn from me. But again, remember, I was at a place where I didn't know what I wanted to teach yet. So what I would do is ask them,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, as they were built. So I started talking about something, right? I had to talk about something. So on my anchor event, which they had to give me their contact information in the email, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so they signed up. And then on that email, and with the email autoresponder, I would send them the information to get on my call on my anchor event, which is literally a Bridgeline phone call with a phone number. It was old school.
Mm.
They would have to be on the phone to listen to me talking about money. I would talk about money. I would talk about marketing and how to make more money.
Okay.
And I remember the first time I did it, I was so nervous that I wrote down like almost everything that I
Yeah.
was going to say. And
Uh-huh.
then I thought, no, I'm going to sound like I'm reading it off of, so I can't do that. Anyway, to make a long story short, the first time was so rusty and only two people showed up. And I wish that they wouldn't even have showed up. Have you ever felt like that, people, where you get people and then when it's the time to get on stage or it's the time where people are going to listening, you are so afraid that you're like, oh my god, what have I done?
I
What
feel
have
you.
I done?
I feel
And
you.
so, yeah, so but I kept doing it every week, and I noticed that the more I did it and the more I talked, and just talked about what I like to talk about, it I was no longer nervous.
Hmm.
So then I would ask them in the email for feedback. What did you like? I made a little form in SurveyMonkey and fill out this form. Did you like the topic? What would you like to hear more of? And I just kept doing that.
Hmm.
Then I put up a website. Remember my blog I told you about? So I thought I've got to have a place where they can buy. Like I literally taught myself how to put the little coding. I watched YouTube videos and learned how to put the coding for the PayPal payment button.
Hmm.
And I would lead people on my call to this hidden page on my site. It wasn't necessarily hidden. It was just that they had to go somewhere, right? And
Okay.
I would ask them to join a membership, and I called it the Moxie Inner Circle. And
Mm.
it was $97 a month. I quickly realized that's not enough money. I
Mm.
need I need more money to fund my life and my business if I'm going to do this full time. And I
Okay.
thought, what could I teach people with high value but a higher ticket? And that is when I charged $6,000 for 6 months of coaching. But I threw in the website because I found someone that would put up the website for them, and then I would help them with all the pages, and I would help them basically doing what I was doing, craft all the copywriting, and I would help them craft hooks. I would help them with their anchor event and to get it going. And almost all of them said, I can't charge $6,000. And I said, wait a minute, you paid me $6,000. What do you mean you can't charge $6,000? And so the value was there. It was a lot of them. I realized a lot of them. I was helping them with the steps. So I was helping them with their mindset in a lot of ways. And so that is how I started with my list build. So that was step number one. And number two was I needed a signature product. A signature product helps people know that you're known for something, right?
Hmm.
People like to know that you're known for a product, a service, or a method. A method. So
Okay.
my first product was called the Moxie Money Making Blueprint.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I used alliteration and rhyming. No, there was no rhyming, I guess, but I started, and then I decided to name my business the Moxie Entrepreneur. It was actually Moxie Mompreneur initially. I changed it to Moxie Entrepreneur because I didn't think mompreneur sounded serious, and I wanted to be taken seriously. So
Okay.
you've got to ask yourself, what do you have product wise that is a method that you teach? So
Yeah.
what could you teach somebody? What do you already teach someone? How could you turn it into a signature product? Give it a catchy name with the result in the name.
Okay.
And then step three, I started to market it. I started to talk about it. I started to use that name a lot. Go to the Moxie Entrepreneur, join the Moxie Inner Circle, or get on a consultation call for my Moxie Money Making Blueprint method. And that was what I taught them in that 6 months.
Hmm.
So that was step number three. And focusing on converting those sales is really important. So when you start building a list, even if you only have 50 people on your list, you can convert them to sales.
Hmm.
50 people that are interested. This isn't 50 cold people, okay?
Okay.
These are people that signed up to hear you, listen to you, and start believing in what you're selling. They will buy from you.
Mm.
It's just a matter of you asking, getting to know them face to face, I would meet them on Skype for consultations. I would ask them for a consultation, meaning you've got to start asking for the sale. And that is from my sales background. So
Mm-hmm.
having a sales background, I realized helped me tremendously. If you've
Mm-hmm.
not had a sales background, I can see definitely that it would be intimidating.
Yeah.
Well, the difference that I noticed for me is that it wasn't like easy for me to ask for the sale, but it was easier. I will say this, there was a difference between me selling my own product and service versus all, the TV advertising. And
Mm-hmm.
that is because there there's always an inner sense of, can I get this person the result? And
Mm-hmm.
I would be afraid, right? Because
Yeah.
my reputation, like, I really care about people, I really want them to get the result. So that's why I continue to do the one-on-one coaching. I felt like that is really what people need and want. And it's actually still true to this day. The more we get away from relationships and technology, the more people crave one-on-one coaching, face to face. And
Mm.
now that you can do it with, video, consider starting with a high end product, whether it be 6,000, 10,000. I've charged 20,000 or excuse me, 10,000 in a day. And I think some of my biggest days were $20,000. So when I really compare that to what my salary was, it's laughable. And I
Mm.
just needed to have the right systems, these 5 steps. So let's talk about step 4, where I talked about the sales conversions. So your marketing, which is step 3,
Yeah.
learning marketing, learning the right words, and asking for the sale in all these many different places. When I say all these many different places, I mean in the email that you send out, you want a little link going to the consultation page. You want people to go to the consultation page.
Mm-hmm.
Then it became about vetting, having them fill out and vetting and making sure my consultation page wasn't just, anybody showing up, because I want to know that they can actually take the time to apply what I'm asking them.
Mm-hmm.
I started noticing that people would surprise me. Sometimes I didn't think, oh, I don't know if this person has the confidence, or I don't know if this, but they pulled it off. Then other people, there were people that were so confident and then they could do it. And I was like, people are funny. People are funny. But working with people one on one really helped me get closer to
Mm-hmm.
what they needed to hear from me. The accountability is a big one for people. Um, I really love people, but I love personality types and trying to understand them and how to get in their head. And so that was all fun. But keeping that going and sending them not just to your website so that they, spend 10 seconds, get lost and leave. A
Mm-hmm.
confused mind never buys. Okay, I'll say that again. A confused mind never buys. This is exactly why McDonald's became, they put packages. They
Yeah.
didn't, I don't think they had that for many years. And they realized they have too many things that they sell. They need to put it in packages. The
Mm.
other day, I was like, I traveled to an AI conference. I'm in Naples, Florida, and I drove up to Orlando, and I went to get just one thing in a drive-through, and he tried to sell me these packages, and I realized I ended up buying 2 things. Buying the package was less money than buying the 2 things. I would have gotten 4 things for less, and I was like, but I didn't want the junk food anyway. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. But
Mm.
packages help the brain process. And the faster we are getting with technology, and how everything is just happening to us constantly, and we're almost becoming, well, we're becoming addicted.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's causing our brains to not be able to focus, and you got to be able to focus to make a decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to lead people to one page. If it's a higher ticket, 4,000, 6,000, people are wanting, they probably will want some type of conversation with you or your sales team, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And where was I there? I lost my train of thought. Um, what was I saying? And I've just been talking away. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm making notes. I'm taking notes.
You're taking notes. Great. Um,
So I could have a couple of questions, but keep going because I'm taking
so
notes.
the sales conversions,
We
not
are on point number. I mean, well, the three, the marketing was joined with the sales. I mean, you market and you ask for the sale. Isn't that one step? That's one of the steps.
yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So marketing, understanding marketing and trying, I want to say this too. You could really dilute your efforts when you and exhaust yourself when you are trying to do too much.
Mm-hmm.
If you're online and you're scrolling and you're looking and you're seeing that all these experts are trying to get you to do this and TikTok and Facebook groups and this and that and their program. And if you do you see how easily you can basically spin your wheels and do nothing by trying to do too many things at once? I
Yeah.
say do two or three. And I used to have a coach that said, you've got to be omnipresent everywhere. And I'm like, I'm just one person. Here's the thing. You do kind of want to appear like you're everywhere, but
Mm-hmm.
you're only one person starting out. So you're going to work up to that. You're not going to be Oprah Winfrey on day one,
Yeah.
right?
Of course.
So, I mean, she even used to say, yes, you can have everything, just not all at once. Okay, you'll get there. But
Yeah.
wouldn't you be happy if you just sold one $6,000 package a month?
That would be good. That would be one.
That would be good for a lot of people, and it would help you get to know those people. It would help you um, get closer to $20,000 a month by saying, I like this client. I didn't like this type of client. I want more of this client. See, because the brain attracts more of what you think about. So what you think about, you bring about. If you start to work with too many people that you don't like, you're going to start hating your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like your business, you're going to attract more of those crappy
People who
clients. Those
make you
clients,
hate it even more.
yes.
Uh-huh.
So I think a lot of people don't realize that at first, that yeah, you're going to work with some people that you don't like. You're also going to work with people that are so easy, they're going to feel like your friends. They're your friends, and that you're getting paid well for hanging out with your friends. That was a lot of my clients. And so I kept having to remind myself I need to attract more of them. So what do you do? Well, you can talk to them about what made you buy from me? Could you refer people to me? Referrals convert into sales so much faster than anything else.
Yeah.
Remember,
Yeah.
they just do.
Mm.
So, so that is important to know. And
Yeah.
then, so another thing that I would do when I would talk to someone that already has systems set up, but they're just not making their sales goals, I would ask them, how many times have you asked for the sale this week? And sometimes it was once or twice, or it was just sitting over here on a page on a blog. And I'm like, nobody saw that blog. Nobody read that blog. We want to be making or asking in a lot of different ways. So even if you do a live stream at the end, tell them to go to a lead page, tell them to buy something, or invite them to buy something. Not don't tell them, but invite them to buy something, or invite them to have a conversation, that consultation page. So basically, you're going to always be asking people to
Yeah.
act on something, do something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so that was step 4 with sales conversions, and now step 5 is the delivery. So, which I've kind of tapped on a little bit. The delivery of your product or service is going to help you scale. If consistency is everything.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you don't want to be consistent with doing the wrong things. You want to be consistent with doing the right things. So
Yeah.
that's why I say test, track, and tweak. Just like I said, you're going to watch what clients you bring in, what you liked and what you don't like, right? And then you're going to, I like to talk about income and how much, I say this to my kids, like how much do you need to live? How much you're going to be putting away in your savings account, and do not have a debit card for that savings account. And then you can have another account and you put a certain percentage that's for your marketing when the days that come that you want to start investing in your business. Maybe you want to get a high level coach that
Mm-hmm.
you know so have little savings accounts. I like investments. The savings accounts isn't really for investing, but it's for putting money aside. I know I have friends that are multimillionaires that tell me what they did. I like to ask them, what did you do in the very beginning of your life? And almost all of them say, I started saving 10 to 20% of my income from age 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
It is such a good habit. And, one thing that not sure why I'm getting off on this topic, but probably because in my program, Rich, Fit, and Happy, I talk about all these things. You got to have little systems for everything. And I was talking to my daughter last night. She's 21. And I said, so I got this piece of mail I noticed. And like she's getting some of her mail still to me. She lives on her own. And I looked at one of her bank statements. I'm just like, you you didn't have enough money in this account to like, she's like, oh, I have those subscriptions. I'm like, okay, you have to have some kind of system for your subscriptions, right? I am guilty of like, I got to keep track of that because you can have money coming out and you don't even know what the heck it is for. And
Mm.
so we had a little session where we talked, and I am the first to share with my kids, hey, this is what happened to me and this is what I did. So they know that it's not just me finger pointing, you're in trouble for this, but we all have to be very highly aware of what's coming in and what's going out. So again, where attention flows, energy goes, right? So you want to make sure that you're like highly aware of where your money's going and what's coming in. The more you focus on what's coming in, the more it grows. It's amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wow, wow, wow. Uh, we,
Did I
we,
talk your ear off?
we would want to stay here just listening to those nuggets flowing. So we are going to employ them into a business. Now I have an online business. That's a story for another day. We want to know much more about what you did, what you're doing. And one thing that I have picked from your presentation, and you stressed the idea of coming from a background of sales. So if someone is thinking of going into business, online business, the first place that it should start on should be sales. Am I right or wrong?
In their career?
I mean, whatever it is they are in, sales is something to be considered
Oh,
as a first priority.
yes.
Yeah.
Right. You've got to always go back to what did I do today? How many times did I ask for the sale or given people the opportunity to work with me? And if the question is none, that's why you didn't make any money.
Mm,
And so, but asking yourself that question often, maybe even, like I laugh because I have to gamify everything because I'll get bored. And that was me in school. I wasn't listening half the time because I was bored and I would always get in trouble for it. But that's just how my brain works. And I think a lot of people's do.
yeah.
Uh, and so if you can find a way to gamify things, and
Mhm.
if you have to like check off little boxes, because the brain likes to complete things. So if you can ask yourself or maybe like draw, okay, don't laugh at me. I'm just going back to basics here, but if you have to draw 5 little circles on your calendar and check those off, you're going to ask for the sale 5 times a day. It forces you to create a habit around it. It forces you to look at that as possibly being the problem, right? As to why you're not making any money.
Mm,
And then it forces you or encourages you to go, oh, wow, I need to hit that 5 asks fast so that next month I'm asking 10 times a day. So how could you do it faster? How could you do it and convert sales faster? Then you got to look at the sales conversions, right? Like you need 10 sales a week or a month. If you need 10 sales a month, you're going to have to increase the ask, right? So
exactly.
do what you need to gamify those things in
Mm,
those 5 areas that I mentioned.
mm.
And you're going to really like start making money.
Well, yeah, one part that you mentioned, and I was like, really? And also, I believe the one who's watching or listening was like, what? 6,000 to work with one client? And it's not something that comes easy. But then I got your picture, and this is where we focus on the mindset and changing your mindset, working on your mindset. I got how it was easy in quotes for you to go at it, as you mentioned, because you've sold a 20,000 advertising space for 30 seconds, a 30 seconds ad.
Oh yeah,
During
yeah, yeah.
the day.
That's, I
I
hadn't
mean,
really thought about that with regard to what you just said. I know what business owners pay for eyeballs,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that did help encourage me, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was easy for you. I mean, I've sold 30,000 for 30 seconds. So why not sell? I mean, well, wouldn't it be easier for me or simple for me to sell 6,000 for 6 months? That's 1,000 per month. So that was easy. So I think I'm gonna enroll somewhere where I'll be forced to sell a 30 seconds ad in order that I may get the confidence.
Right. So here's the thing, you have
Yeah.
to ask yourself the value and understand that, okay, so let's say you want to make six figures this year or in the next 6 months or a few months. You're going to want to go to businesses. That's one of the things that comes to my mind. Businesses they want more customers. How can you help them get more customers?
Hmm.
That's a great way to start to hit your six figures faster. That's going to help. So there's a lot of value in
Yeah.
helping people make money. There's a lot of value in helping people lose weight,
Mm.
right? Why do people put so much value? We want to look good and feel good, and we want money.
Yeah.
So that's why I started Rich, Fit, and Happy, because one of the things that it's what everybody wants, okay? To live a fulfilled life.
Hmm.
You unfortunately, we live in a world where you do need to make money to pay your bills, okay? And for the many things that we need to make ourselves look good, stay healthy, stay safe, right? You want to live in a safe environment. I live in Naples, and it's really expensive, and I see online in little Facebook groups how people are really struggling because rent has tripled
Hmm.
just in the last year in here, and people are being forced out of their apartments. They're literally getting letters attached to the door telling them that rent is doubling and tripling, and they need to get out and find another home.
Okay.
Well, they have to leave the city, and that's really sad. So I say you can leave and go, live somewhere else, or you could just up level the game in your brain
Hmm.
and say, I want to live here. I want to continue to live here. This is going to force me to figure out how to live here, how to continue living here. I,
Hmm.
I got to make a lot of money. And you don't have to, we're living in an age where you don't really have to. Yes, inflation is awful. It's kind of crazy when you think about what has happened in just the last few years,
Yeah.
but with food and everything. But it's not, we're living in an age where it's actually easier to make a lot more money than ever before. And
Mm.
you've got to remind yourself of that. It's actually easier because my grandparents and my parents didn't have the ability to go Uber and make cash that day.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways. And I say, figure it out. There's always a way. Everything is figure outable.
Figure it out. Figure it out.
Yes.
Now, on that note, I know, uh, and I think maybe you are going to agree with me that you can start an online business on just about anything that you're doing. Is that true? Today?
Just about anything.
Yeah, just anything that you are engaged in, whatever it is that you're doing, you can turn it into a business. Uh, I
Yes.
can't
So,
think that is
so
possible.
it's, well, think of it this way. It's the information age.
Yeah,
And people, I know the information is just everywhere, but people still like to buy because, like I said, the confused mind doesn't buy.
yeah,
So people will still want to put value on something, whether it be a membership. Okay, like Rich Fit and Happy it's like a membership program where there's going to be there are live calls where I teach this kind of information, but
mm,
there's also a library of content where I take complicated to simple, but the focus is on health and wealth.
mm.
But I lost where I was going with that.
Yeah. We were
Yes,
talking
yes,
about.
pretty much and yes, there are so many ways to make money. But um, Did you have something in mind? Like, is there an,
Because I was going to ask, which is the most weird idea that you have ever had turned into a business?
uh-oh, the most weird idea.
Into an online business.
Well, I don't know if it was weird. It was a professional baseball player that wanted to sell bats,
Mm-hmm.
baseball bats,
Yeah.
and and that was an experience because he couldn't get me pictures of his product. I could not figure out because he just didn't understand online anything.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that was a weird, but I had never done e-commerce, so that was like a learning experience. So I had to find someone to help me with his e-commerce site. But it was weird in that he didn't understand that I was going to have pictures of his products to
Okay.
put on the site. Like, anyway, that was a weird experience. Let me think if I can. I can't think of any that
Never mind. They are going to tell
I
us
can't think of
now.
any that your audience would think was weird. How about
They will tell us. Our audience are going to tell us at some point. If not now that we are just about to sign off, then after we've signed off.
oh, I know. I just remembered. I just
Okay.
remembered
Okay. Tell us.
a gal, and this was merchandise as well. So maybe I think merchandise is weird. She sold what are the little pets and clothes and stuff that go with it. The little pets that some countries actually eat.
Crickets.
Did you did you say crickets?
Grasshoppers.
No, no, they're little furry. They're like little gerbils, but they're not gerbils. They're like they're fat guinea pigs.
Okay.
She sold chinchilla guinea pigs,
Mm-hmm.
and she bred them and she sold them and people love them and they buy little clothes for them. That was kind of a nightmare. It sounded like she would have to order them from other countries and fly them here.
Okay.
It was so that was weird. I'll call that my little weird business that I helped with.
Wow, wow. So, to our viewers, go out there and think of an idea. If you are not into business, if you are not in business right now, then you can always get into business. You think of an idea, whatever it is that you're doing, your passion, the hobby that you're engaged in, you can turn it into a business and you can turn it into a six-figure business. That
Yes, and can I just say that a service-based business is the fastest path to cash.
and when you say service, you mean things like,
Home remodeling, that would
mhm,
be a service.
yeah,
Um, uh, my service is I help give information and strategies to make money. So that's my service.
okay,
Um, house cleaning,
okay. I'm gonna,
dog training. That's
yeah,
another. That's another kind of weird one that I consider to be weird. But you're Anthony. You're oh, there you are.
there, yeah.
I didn't know if you were still there.
We,
So service based in that way. So what could you do for somebody that they would exchange money? Um, I know a gal that's husband is in remodeling and he hadn't been on one of those little apps. I think it's called Thumbtack. It's an app where you can get, jobs
okay,
on there. Another gal I actually met because on the side, she does dog sitting. And I met her because she watches my dog when I go out of town. And so she makes a lot of money doing that. So she's using the app, but so she is in a good position she's right now just making extra money doing that, but she loves dogs so much that she could do something else with that. She could start selling merchandise, or she could train dogs. There's so many things you can do, but she started with a service.
mm, that's cool. Yeah, so seems that our time has gone and we can't get enough of what you're sharing. So, how can people connect with you if they want to follow up with you?
Okay, if you wanted to go to that link, is the link underneath there for the Facebook group, ask to join Rich, Fit, and Happy. It's a Facebook group. I'm going to start going in there 3 times a week. You can go listen to my podcast, and that is The Crystal O Show. And
Okay.
it's like everywhere that podcasts are, iTunes, you can probably, if you listen to iTunes, you can go there. Or
Mm,
you can go to richfitandhappy.com and join.
Okay, so the description is down there and the link is in the description. So you go there and join the Facebook group and follow up with Crystal. And
Very good. Thank you.
get mentored into making your next business.
You could also go to Amazon and buy my book, Unleash Your Moxie.
That, yeah, Unleash Your Moxie on Amazon. That's beautiful. Thank you very much, Crystal. It's been an honor
Welcome.
on our show. And yeah, we are just about to sign off. But before we go, which few words would you always like us to remember?
Um, Probably one of the quotes that I had mentioned earlier, and that is, where your attention goes, energy flows. Think about what you want and know that your thoughts become feelings, not the other way around. Because as you build your business, you're going to have to manage your emotions. So your thoughts become your feelings.
Mm, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
thank you too for coming here.
Okay.
Yeah, this has been Now Tell Us. I've been your host, Anthony Morore, and together with our guest today, Crystal O'Connor, we're saying bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye.